Welcome to another episode, and we continue our journey leaving Prince George and heading up to Burns Lake, a municipal campground. It was a nice little drive.
Yes.
This is one of two municipal campgrounds that we stayed at kind of back to back. Unique about this one is that no charge, and it's right on the lake.
And people came in to camp overnight, and they just filled any space that they could.
Yeah. We actually found really the last spot that was available for a rig the size that we're pulling, and it's right in front of us, and we didn't realize that that was the spot. We thought the one up behind it was larger, but it turned out it was a roadway. But people ended up parking in the roadway anyway, and along the sides, anywhere, like Libby said, that you could find a spot.
And behind us in the green, a tent for a family they set up, had dinner.
A lot of recreation in this area, and I was really happy to hear all the kids. Like right now, it's not very busy, but within a couple of hours of us getting there were lots of families there. And this is Burns Lake.
And this is where one of my sisters taught first aid, I think, for a couple of years. In the 70s, she went out from Prince George, and they spent the summer there.
Right.
I had a couple of sisters that taught swimming in this region along between Prince George and Prince Rupert.
So I managed to back into the site fairly easily, which was good, still learning. And that's what it looked like when we were all set up.
Yeah, there's no room for the truck.
Yeah. And like I said, no charge. They asked for a 72-hour maximum stay from our trailer to the lake, very close.
Yeah.
It's a nice little lake.
And this is a bear. Maury and I were out for a walk, and a man yelled that there was a bear cub in the area, and little bear cub came trotting, and Maury barked at it, and it turned and hightailed it off. We did not see the mother. Hopefully it does have a mother, but it went off into the bush.
A little scary that there's a baby bear on the beach right next to the playground. I'm pretty sure that probably got reported to somebody. But this was us leaving. We were there for a
couple of days.
2 days, and it was another one of those examples where we're putting our rig batteries to the test, and we really have discovered that if we're really careful, we can get 1.5 days out of the rig batteries. That's about it.
As on our left, I went shopping, and I could smell this absolutely divine curry, and so we had a curry dinner.
That's right. Off from Burns Lake up to Smithers, again, another municipal campground. This one, however, is a paid site. And I was blown away with the scenery that we were looking at as we traveled up to Smithers.
Yeah, you can see how the land changes as we go west. And this is the Highway of Tears. It's from Prince George to Prince Rupert, and a lot of Indigenous, and there was a few white young ladies that went missing. Some were actually found. So it's called the Highway of Tears, and this is us arriving at the entrance to the campground in Smithers. It's kind of a little odd thing.
That's a weird road. But it is what it is.
But if you go left, like we're pointed straight, that's Main Street, and it comes right into the town site. The main town site. And this is going down into the campground. It's a really weird, bumpy road. Yeah.
We're right on Bulkley River here. Yes. And down in the valley, it was hot that day. Oh my goodness. This was the first day of our travels where we're literally just sweltering. It was like, oh my gosh. And we couldn't quite tell where our site was. There were signs, but it didn't really make a whole lot of sense. So we parked and we walked around a little bit and then realized...
to figure out which side of because it's all grass.
Yeah.
There's no laneways that you could tell. And so trying to decide, is it to the left of the sign, the post, or to the right of the post?
River's quite fast running. That's where we ended up. Nice site. That's the view from the campground of a mountain. Lots of trails in this area.
Yeah.
And we got out and saw it.
Not too many bugs.
No, it was actually nice. Probably too hot for the bugs.
Yeah, they were in the shade.
Off the side of the trails, there were a few places that were good enough that Maury could get down. It wasn't like cliff, but that actually was quite steep getting down there. But he loved... We have really found that we have a water dog that doesn't swim. He just loves to be in the water, but he doesn't swim.
He goes up to his belly and he's content. Yeah. When he's really hot, I find that he'll go up to his belly and he looks like, at one point, he looked like he was going to just lay down.
Yeah. Yeah. Loves it. So, and whatever was out there, he had to sniff and figure out what it was. But
oh yeah.
But we went out every single day and for several times every day, and we just go do the trails. I made rice pudding. Oh, yes. It was so good. And a pizza. I made a pizza. Figured out a new way to cook pizza.
We went for a walk. We actually went together with Maury.
Yeah. A lot of Swiss history in this area. So took that, and this was your dentist.
My orthodontist comes here once a month for 1 week from Calgary.
Yeah.
I think it's really kind of cool, and it's a specialist office.
You haven't sent him the picture yet?
No.
You were going to send him a picture saying, I'm here for my appointment, where are you?
Yeah.
It didn't happen. So I have no complaints about this campground except for this road. Just a little bit past this gate, you could do laundry on that washboard.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
It rattles your fake teeth.
Yep. So we really had to take it slow and
it was
get off
steep.
the beat. Yeah, it was steep.
Steep and rough.
From Smithers, we went up to Terrace. We were staying at a place called Ferry Island, but we made a couple of pit stops.
We stopped for lunch at the entrance to Kitwanga, and there's the
north to Alaska.
It's the worst road to go to Alaska. Yeah. I think it's the Cassier.
Yeah.
Now we're in Terrace.
So this is us coming into Ferry Island campground.
Ferry.
Right.
I keep wondering if there used to be a ferry, because there's a bridge just past where we were headed.
This place is gorgeous.
Oh, absolutely.
A lot of shade.
It. Yes.
So for larger rigs, if you're not experienced in backing up, I found this place to be a challenge to get into our site. And
it wasn't impossible. It was just, you have to be in the right mindset and
really know what you're doing.
Yeah.
Thankfully the guy that was literally right across from us is a retired truck driver.
And he's been doing backing up RVs for 30 years.
Yeah. So he thankfully helped us. But these trees that you see over top of us, didn't really think we were going to have much of an issue with this, but we ended up having...
We forgot we had a little thing on top that we could actually take down if we encounter a situation like this again.
I have to remember to get up there.
We have to take the weather station down.
So this is our little path that came in here, and we just passed by our site. No, we didn't. It's still coming up here. Yeah. This is what I mean, like trying to make some of these corners.
There's the outhouses on the left. They looked like, I thought they were steel gun lockers.
Yeah. Yeah.
They were weird.
Yeah, so lots of trees overhead, and you can just see the really tight spaces. The thin driveways to get into.
But it filled up.
Yeah, it did. By the time we were set up,
even the double lots.
Yeah, I think just about everything was full. I don't think it was at 100% capacity, but it was very close.
So that's our
site right there
on the right, and you could see the blue awning. That was our neighbor who was very helpful. He came out and
people who are experienced at this are going, "What are you talking about, Olson? There's lots of room to get in there."
But they're all compassionate. They understand, like, when you are beginning this. You have bad days.
There's the top of our weather station. There's what was left of it out in the road. Libby found it.
Yep.
This was fun. No water on site. They had power, but our closest water, you could see our rig through the trees. Libby took the water hose and
I was going to say, and how did it get to
hiked through the bush, and I
with shorts?
I hooked up the water hose, and she stood there with the
filter
and stuff, just to make sure that that we got the amount of water that we needed. So,
yeah.
Thanks for taking one for the team.
There was no path.
No path.
Then.
No.
Now there is.
Now there is. We got it all hooked up, so we were able to get our water. And just a short walk. Lots of paths in this area as well that lead down to the river. I think technically this is part of an off-leash area. We saw the power lines, and those go into an off-leash area, and it dumps out on it. So I'm thinking it was okay to be there.
Oh yeah,
we took.
We saw other people there.
Yeah, we took 1 day trip up to the lava fields. Now we're not going to go into a lot of detail on this in this video. We'd like to spend a bit more time talking about the lava fields, and so we will do that in the next episode. But absolutely phenomenal place to go to. There you are, sitting on a rock with your feet.
How hot was it?
Oh, it was
38.
36, 38 degrees that day. Yeah, it was a warm one.
Yeah, by the end, we were done.
And this is the next day, us pulling out of the campsite, just taking our time. And I didn't bother to put the power station, or not power station, I didn't bother to put the weather station back on the rig.
Hadn't glued it. Yeah. We didn't have any super glue yet.
Yeah, so we didn't have one for a few days.
And I lost my lens cap here.
You found your lens cap.
Okay, it fell under the seat.
You found it like 2 weeks later.
Yeah.
Kept saying, I got to get a new lens cap.
Nope.
Go look in the truck. It's probably in the truck.
Yeah.
Yeah, so leaving this area, nice. I mean, I would come back here in a heartbeat. Now that I know what it is.
I would have loved to spend more time there.
Yeah.
The beach wasn't, I had trouble with wearing.
With the rocks, yeah.
Especially wearing sandals.
So from there, we were on our way up to Prince Rupert, but we decided to stay in Port Edward, which is not too far from Rupert.
Well, I chose the campground first, but look, see how it's changed?
Oh, yeah.
Now the land is rock with trees.
That is
rock
a
and
massive
trees.
cliff ahead of us.
Yeah, and it changed after Kitwanga, where we had lunch.
Yeah. Like just phenomenal scenery. I couldn't get enough of this. In fact, I have to actually say it was hard for me to drive this area because I'm supposed to be paying attention to the road, and I just wanted to gawk at everything.
Isn't that
amazing
stunning?
stuff. We had some rain for a little while on that drive, but we ended up in Kinnikinnick campground,
which is an Algonquin word for a plant that is used in a smoking mixture.
Yeah, I've sped this video up because I don't think you needed to watch me walk all the way up here.
Those roads are steep.
Yeah.
Relatively steep. Not super steep, but they are.
So they have some cabins, and depending upon which site you're in will determine when you get to the office whether you go left or right so that you can get in. And we watched some pretty big rigs struggle to get in here. I was actually pleased. I mean, for a change,
really well.
we got into this one okay. But I think that they have just carved this place right out of the side of a mountain. I mean, it's really phenomenal. Now, this is kind of interesting. The people right across from us, we saw them at Dinosaur Provincial Park.
Yeah.
Like, what is the chances in a million years that somebody that you camped with 2 months ago would end up in the same campground 2 months later? But there it was. So,
and they own an outdoors RV also.
Yeah. So this is us, and like I said, carved right out of stone there, and it levels because the next trailer to us is up above us.
And the one beside us is
below us.
And cedar trees all over the place. It was really weird.
Salamander habitat.
And this is a double campsite.
It's like 10 and 11, yeah.
Yeah, it's just over those rocks.
To get to Port Edward is just along the highway. Lots and lots of salmon berries. This is Port Edward.
Yeah, this is the marina, and also further up there's CN stuff.
Yeah.
So went for a walk and took some pictures. These must be yours.
Combination thereof.
Yeah. And this is an old building. I just loved photo. If you could see, they've hung things to dry. These are crab cages, a lot of them, floats, and anchors. It took me a while to figure out what they were, and those are barnacles?
I think so. These are the cabins at the campsite that they're just building. I loved your sunset shot. So we wanted to go into Prince Rupert, and it's only about 12K away. Very easy. This is as we're getting ready to go. Maury grabs his stuff.
I mentioned Highway of Tears. That was a red shirt hanging in memoriam to help remember.
The day we arrived in Prince Rupert, there was a cruise ship in the harbor, which is why we couldn't get any salmon. They were all sold out.
Yeah, but we had amazing
halibut. Yeah, we got some halibut. Now this was
water boy.
I had to laugh about this because he takes drinks of water like he does in every single lake, and then realizes, yuck, this is salty. I don't like this at all.
He likes the water, and it was so sharp.
Yeah.
But I don't know how he did it. And he ran up the boulders. Those were boulders.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's somewhere past those islands is the Pacific Ocean. Yeah. Barnacles.
This is something that Libby started years ago of getting shots of her feet in the water. So we got all three of us in that one.
There's Maury. Of course, he must have found something to roll in.
Yeah.
And there he is again. And he leapt up these boulders. Crows. I've never seen so many crows in my life.
And lots of boats.
And boats. And that's a tugboat. And he was going really fast. We were talking to a local, and she goes, yeah, it's really moving. And this is the barge it was pulling. This is a former train station, now a museum. A whale. Deer.
On the train tracks.
Oh, yeah, I hope no trains came because there's no escape for them. Another statue. And Steve at the mall. The strangest mall.
Yeah.
This is a totem pole that is in memoriam of the ladies, the Indigenous ladies that have lost. It was also acknowledging the intergenerational trauma at residential schools. And this is the area that it was.
So this is outside of Prince Rupert. Just
rest stop.
Yeah, before you turn the corner to go back to Port Edward. And we stopped and spent, about an hour and a half here.
Yeah, this is a lake that forgot to get the name of. But Maury was so fun to photograph there.
Yeah, he really had a good time.
Yeah, he did miss the crab I found. A dead crab. So
which is
there's something he could have rolled in.
Yeah. So anyway, after this, we went back, spent the night back at the campsite, and then we packed up the next day, and we were back on our way. So that brings you up to date to where our travels have taken us since Prince George, and this is as far west as we have journeyed on this trip, and it'll be the farthest west, actually, I think, that we get this year.
Yes.
So out to the coast at Prince Rupert. And it's all new for me, from basically Vanderhoof in BC. I've never been further west than that in my life, and so everything beyond that was like, wow, this is really amazing.
I was there, but it was 1968 in Easter week. So, I think a few things have changed.
Yeah. So I would like you in the comments to let us know if you like this format, if there's things that you would like to see, are there things that you would like to see less of? And, we've done, I think, 3 videos like this now with the two of us talking about our journeys. If it's something that you like, we'll keep doing it. If you don't, we might keep doing it anyway. But we'll
hit the like button anyway.
Yeah, we'll take your comments into consideration. So that brings you up to date on this time.
Be polite.
Yep.
Yeah, and yeah.
Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.